Hi, I'll start the session at 6:05 and I'll just wait for other people to join if there are, and then we'll start with the session. Hi to those who have already joined. I'll be waiting for another few minutes to see if there are others joining before I start. All right.
Okay, ma'am.
All right, I think there are no more people joining and we can start. So, welcome to everyone to this problem solving session for the NPTEL course Post Harvest Operations and Processing of Fruit, Vegetables, Spices, and Plantation Crop Products. So, before I start, let me introduce myself. I am Anakha Nair. I'm a PhD scholar at IITB, and I'll be taking these sessions for you. Just a minute, there are other people joining. Yeah. So I'll be taking this session for you on every Tuesday at the same time, 6 to 8, right? So, how these sessions will proceed is there'll be around 10 to 20 questions each session of the module that you have studied this previous week, and they'll be something similar to what you will find in your assignment questions, and we'll solve them together. They will not be the same questions as your assignment, and we will also not be solving your assignment questions till the due date for them has passed. All right. So, without further ado, I'll move on to the first question. I hope you all participate proactively, and if you have any doubts, please stop me and let me know. You can write it in the chat in case you don't want to unmute yourself and talk. Uh, just one sec, there are a few more people joining. Hmm. Just one sec. All right. So, to the new joinees, as I was saying, these sessions, there will be 12 of them, and they will be of 2 hours, and there'll be around 10 to 20 questions that we'll be going through together. And please feel free to stop me whenever you have a doubt or you don't understand something that I've been explaining to you. If you don't want to unmute yourself, you can write it in the chat. I'll keep my chat open so that if there are any doubts, I can look through them. All right. So this is the first question, and you can also write the answer that you think it is in the chat. So I'll just get to know how many people think what the answer is. All right. So question number one is, which of the following crops does India rank first in production? And there are four options. App- Option A is apple. Option B is grapes. Option C is banana, and option D is orange. All right, Seema, do you have an answer or a question?
Answer C. Option C.
Option
Option C.
C. All right. Yes. So anyone else thinks it is something else? All right. So I'm not seeing anything in the chat as such. So yes, the correct option is option C. It is bananas. We are the largest producer of.
Ma'am, bananas.
Yeah, correct, bananas. So we are the largest producer of bananas in the world. We produce around 3.4 tons of banana, right? 3.4 crore tons of bananas per year, right? So the correct answer is option C. Well done, everyone. So most of these questions are sort of theoretical. So if you had seen the module properly, you might remember the answer, and only a few of them are numerical. Right? And in case someone has already attended the session, there's another session, right, on Sunday. You will notice that these are the same questions. So even though there are two sessions, the questions will be the same. Just so you are aware of this, all right? So is there any doubt in this question? If not, I'll move on. All right, no doubts. So, question number two is, which of the following statement is correct regarding the major fruits of India? So, there are again four options. Option A is India is the largest producer of grapes in the world. Option B is the area under cultivation of fruits in India is 6.66 million hectares. Option C is India is not a major exporter of fruits to the world. And option D is post harvest losses of fruits and vegetables in India are less than 10%. So you have to find out the correct statement out of these four, and there could be multiple correct statements also. All right. Seema, you have an answer? Oh no.
Answer B.
Answer B. Yes, I just lost my network for a little while. So let's see what the answer is. Yes, the answer is answer B, like all of you had mentioned. So, India is not the largest producer of grapes in the world. It is China, which is the largest producer of grapes in the world. Yeah, just yeah, I seem to be losing my connection in between. So just tell me if I have gone too forward. All right. So yeah. So as I was saying, the correct answer is B. The area under cultivation of fruits in India is 6.66 million hectares. India is not the largest producer of grapes in the world. That means option A is incorrect. China is the largest producer of grapes in the world. India is, in fact, a major exporter of fruits to the world. So option C is also not correct. And India has about 20% or more post harvest losses of fruits and vegetables. So option D is also not correct. So you were correct. The correct option is option B. All right. So if there are no doubts in this question, you can also write down any doubts that you have in the chat. All right. So if there are no doubts, I'll move on to question number three. Question number three is which of the following statement is are correct about the nutritional content of fruits? There are four options. Ripe fruit contain a higher percentage of sugar, chiefly in the form of sucrose, fructose, and glucose. Option two is fruits are a poor source of iron except for certain fruits like sitafal. Option 3 is C. Buckthorn and amla are the richest source of vitamin C, followed by guava. And option 4 is some fruits like apples, pears, cherries, grapes, and citrus fruit contain flavonoids that act as antioxidants. So again, there can be multiple correct answers or a single correct answer. So choose wisely. I'm not seeing anything in the chat as such. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So thank you. So, in case you don't know the answer, and that's why you're not writing in the chat, I'll move on to the answers, right? So, all of them are correct.
One or four.
Uh, can you repeat? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
According to me, answer is one or four.
Okay, one or four. So, like I said, there might be a few questions which might have multiple correct answers, right? So, instead of MCQ, MSQs, right? So, in this case, all of the answers are correct. So, ripe fruits do contain a higher percentage of sugar, chiefly in the form of sucrose, fructose, and glucose. So, what happens is the complex carbohydrates that were present in the fruits, they are broken down when they are ripened, and these complex carbohydrates give rise to monomers like fructose and glucose, and dimers like sucrose, right? Fruits are poor source of iron, that is also correct, except for fruit like sitafal. So sitafal is high in iron, but most other fruits do not have a high iron content. C. Buckthorn and amla are the richest source of vitamin C, followed by guava. It is not lemon like we are told usually, right? And option number 4, Some fruits like apples, pears, cherries, grapes, and citrus fruit contains flavonoids that can act as antioxidants are also correct. Right. So the correct answer is all four of them. Does anyone have a doubt in this question? All right, I'll move on to question number four then. So question number four is Harshal, you have a doubt? Has left the meeting. All right. Okay. So we'll check with Harshal when he comes back. Right.
A.
Yeah. So which of the following fruits is an excellent source of carotenes? Papaya, amla, apple, and grape. And yes, all of you seem to know the answer. So it is in fact papaya, which is a great source of carotene. Right. Uh, Anyone has any doubts in this question? All right. So, other fruits which are great sources of carotenes are mangoes and dates and oranges, also, right? Apart from papaya. Okay. So, let's move on to the next question if there are no doubts for this. So, question number five is again, which of these is correct? So, which of the following statements about ripening and senescence in fruits are correct, right? So, there are four options again. Ripening refers to the physiological and biochemical changes of a fruit to attain desirable color, flavor, aroma, sweetness, texture, and thus eating quality. Option 2 is the process of ripening usually does not occur until a fruit reaches its full maturity. Option 3 is ripening of a fruit may occur only after harvest depending on the species. And option 4, in non-climatic fruits, the respiration rate increases during ripening and is associated with elevated ethylene production, right? So again, there can be multiple correct answers. So
1, 2, and 4.
1, 2, and 4. All right. So 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Let's see which options are correct. So the correct answer is 1 and 2. So the first one was obvious, right? So ripening refers to the physiological and biochemical changes that makes it desirable for us to eat. So that is correct. The process of ripening usually does not occur until a fruit reaches its full maturity. That is also correct. But option 3, that is ripening of a fruit, may occur after harvest depending. Uh, yeah. So in this case, why option number 3 is not correct is because it is saying only after harvest. Okay. So it is not necessary that a fruit needs to be harvested for it to ripen. So there can be fruits which ripen even after they are harvested, and there can be fruits which do not ripen after they are harvested. But harvesting is not a necessary condition for ripening to occur. So option 3 is not correct. And option 4, in non climateric fruits, the respiration rate increases during ripening and is associated with elevated ethylene production. So, climateric fruits are banana, mango, avocado, and non-climateric fruits are fruits like citrus, berries, leafy greens, etc. Right? So, these fruits are the ones that ripen even after they are harvested, right? So, it is climatic fruits in which the respiration rate increases during ripening and it is associated with ethylene production. So this graph is going to show you that too, right? So the red lines that you see are for the climatic fruits and the ethylene production for climatic fruits increases after harvest, right? But for the non-climatic fruits, it does not. It remains stable, right? So this is also not correct. In non-climatic fruits, the respiration rate does not increase during ripening and is not associated with elevated ethylene production. So if this said climatic instead of non-climatic, this would have been correct. So the correct answer for this is option 1 and 2 only. All right. Does anyone have a doubt to this? All right. So I'll move on. So let's move on to question number 6. Question number 6 is, which of the following spice is classified as a phenolic spice? Right. And if you remember your chemistry, you will remember the structure of a phenol, right? So there are four options: ginger, clove, turmeric, and cumin.
Answer B.
Answer
Option B.
B. All right. Someone else
B.
also. Does anyone think it is different? Does someone think it's a different answer? All right.
Answer
So
C.
C, cumin. All right. So the correct answer is in fact answer B. So phenolic compounds that you see here, right? Eugenol, etc. These compounds are what are classified as phenolic compounds, and they are found in cloves. Okay. So that is why these compounds, the clove oil is used for a lot of medicinal purposes, right? It is because they have these phenolic compounds in them. All right. So which spice is classified as a phenolic spice? It is clove. Ginger, turmeric, and cumin are not phenolic compounds. So does anyone have a doubt in this question? So ginger is uh, a pungent spice if you had to classify. Clove is a phenolic spice. Turmeric is a
Color.
colored, yeah, correct. Colored spice. And cumin is, any idea? All right. It's a aromatic spice, right?
Taste.
Yeah. So that is the classification that you have. So ginger is pungent, clove is phenolic, turmeric is colored, and cumin is aromatic. All right. So does anyone have a doubt in this question? All right. I will then move on to the next question. Right. So we are at question number 7, and the question is what is the respiratory quotient value for carbohydrates? All right. And there are four options given to you. So before we start, let me tell you what the formula for respiratory quotient is.
Option B.
Option B. All right. So the respiratory quotient formula is volume of CO2 evolved by volume of oxygen consumed, right? So this is the formula for respiratory quotient. So according to that, let's see what the answer is. They are asking for the respiratory quotient value for carbohydrates. So let's see how that is. So this is the formula of uh, right, the conversion of carbohydrates into energy, right? So you have glucose and 6O2, which is giving you 6 CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy, right? So since you have 6 molecules of CO2 and 6 molecules of O2 which has been consumed, you get an answer of 1. Okay. Depending on what the question was, if it was fats, proteins, organic acids, or anaerobic respiration, you would have gotten different values for the respiratory quotient, right? So the correct answer for carbohydrates is 1, right? And this respiratory quotient will help you to see, at what stage of harvesting or ripening fruit is at, and just one second, yeah, and how to store it, and if the fruits which are stored in the correct condition or not, right? So the respiratory quotient might change depending on if the food is getting spoiled or something else, some other metabolic process is happening. So that is why it is important for us to know the respiratory quotient of fruits. All right. So are there any doubts in this question? All right. Please feel free to voice any doubts that you have. All right. So, since I'm assuming there are no doubts, I'll move on to question number 8. So, this is again true or false, correct or not question, right? So, which of the following statement is or are correct regarding respiration? And there are four options given to you. The respiration rate of fresh produce can be measured using gas exchange. Option 2 is respiration rate indicates the storage potential of the plant produce. Option 3 is higher respiration rate indicates longer shelf life. And option 4 is the respiration rate is an important criteria to compare the perishability of fruits and vegetables. How fast they will spoil. That is the perishability, right? So a lot of you have already answered. So let's see if you guys are correct. So most of you said 1 to 4 and you guys are correct. So the respiratory rate of fresh produce can in fact be measured by gas exchange. The respiratory rate indicates the storage potential of the plant produce. A higher respiratory rate means the fruit or plant will have a lower or shorter shelf life, right? A higher respiratory rate indicates longer shelf life. It is not correct. A higher respiratory rate indicates a shorter shelf life. And option 4 is the respiratory rate is an important criteria to compare the perishability of fruits and vegetables. And that is also correct, right? So the higher a respiratory rate of a fruit or vegetable, the lower its shelf life will be. And the lower the respiratory rate of a fruit or vegetable, the higher its shelf life would be, right? So does anyone have any doubts regarding this question? All right. So I'll assume there are no doubts and I'll move on to the next one. All right. So the next question is question number 9, and it is a match the following kind of question. So you have to match things from column 1 to column 2. And the column 1 is different uh, products like nuts, pepper, peas, and mushrooms, and column 2 is the respiratory rates. So you have to a lot of people are still joining. So you have to match which product matches which respiratory rate. Okay, this is a slightly um, something that you will know from your own experience of perishability, right? So there are people answering. All right, all right. So does anyone thinks it's something else apart from A? All right. So let's see what the answer is. So answer is in fact A. So it is very straightforward. Nuts have the least amount of respiratory rate and therefore the highest shelf life. Pepper, because they have low water content, right? They also have, and they are non-climatic, right? So they have lower respiratory rates. Peas have a slightly higher respiratory rate, and that's why they spoil, quicker. And mushrooms has the highest respiratory rate among these four options given to you, and they spoil very quickly, right? So, does anyone have a doubt in this question? No? All right. So, let's move on to question number 10 then. So, question number 10 is which of the following method is used to measure the respiration rate of fresh produce using a gas tight container? And there are four options given to you: flow through system, permeable system, closed system, and open system. So, this is a straightforward question. The question itself will give you the answer, right? So, most of you seem to think that it is one answer, right? All right. So this is the difference between a closed system, a flush system, and a permeable system, right? So a closed system, you will have a gas tight container like this. In a flush system, you will be providing a constant flow of gas, and in a permeable system, you will have a permeable membrane through which the gas molecules can move, right? So in this case, question number 10, Since the question itself is saying it's a gas tight container, the correct answer is closed system. So closed system is the gas tight container, right? And any molecules of gas that will be produced in this container will make this syringe, the back part of the syringe, move up, right? And that will help you measure how much amount of gas molecules have been produced since the time that you close the system, right? And that will tell you how much gas has been produced, right? And that will help you figure out the respiratory rate of the fresh produce. So the correct answer is closed system. Does anyone have a doubt in this question? All right. So we'll move on to question number 11 then. So question number 11 is you have to identify the correct statement about the impact of temperature on respiratory rate. So there are four options given to you. The respiratory rate of a biological reaction increases 2 to 3 folds for every 10-degree increase or rise in the temperature. Option 2 is the respiratory rate is independent of temperature changes. Option 3 is lower temperature reduces the respiration rate of produce. And option 4 is higher temperature can lead to faster spoilage due to increased respiratory rate. So, what do you think the correct answer is? And again, there can be multiple correct answers or a single correct answer. So, 135. All right, 135. So, first, let's go see the answer for this. Right, so 134, yes, so most of you are correct. 134 is the answer, and that is because this is according to the Van Hoff's rules, right? So the respiratory rate of a biological reaction increases with temperature according to the Van Hoff rules, right? So within the physiological temperature range, the velocity of a biological reaction increases 2 to 3 folds. That means the reaction rate increases 2 to 3 folds for every 10% or 10 degree Celsius rise in temperature, right? And lower temperatures reduces respiratory rate, and therefore they prolong shelf life. That is why you keep produce in the refrigerator, right? And higher temperatures increase the respiratory rate, leading to faster spoilage. That is why you have spoilage, more spoilage compared to normal when it is summertime, right? So the correct answer in this case is 134. The only one that was not correct is the respiratory rate is independent of temperature changes. That is not correct. So, like the other two options, 3 and 4 are telling you, lower temperatures reduces the respiratory rate and higher temperatures increases the respiratory rate, right? So, it is not independent of temperature changes. Does someone have a doubt in this question? All right. So let's move on to question number 12. Question number 12 is again a match the following type question, where column 1 is the different kinds of system and column 2 is the characteristics of these systems, right? So there are four options in column 1: aerobic, anaerobic, closed system, and flow through. And column 2 has gas tight container, constant gas flow rate, CO2 plus H2O plus energy, and formation of alcohol. So you have to guess what is the correct match of this, right? So you guys are saying C or 3. So let's see if that is the correct answer. So yes, the correct answer is C. So 1, that is aerobic, means that CO2 plus H2O gives you plus energy, right? So during aerobic respiration, you get CO2 plus H2O plus energy, right? In anaerobic respiration, you get the formation of alcohol. All right. Closed system means gas tight container, and flow through system means that there's a constant flow rate of gas. So the correct option is option C. Right? All of you got it correct, right? Is there any doubt in this question? All right. So I'm assuming there are no doubts. We'll move on to question number 13. So question number 13 is a numerical type of question. So the question is, this is relatively straightforward if you know the formula. Okay. So the question is, the respiration rate at temperature T1 is R1 equals to 5 mg CO2 per kg per hour. The respiration rate at temperature T2 is R2 equals to 15 mg CO2 per kg per hour. The T1 is 10 degrees Celsius and T2 is 20 degrees Celsius. What would be the temperature quotient? That is Q10. So you guys are selecting option B. All right. So let's solve this question. So the formula given to you is for Q10 equals to R2 by R1 to the power 10 by T2 minus T1, where R2 is the respiratory rate 1, R R1 is the respiratory rate 1, R2 is the respiratory rate 2, T1 is the temperature 1 and T2 is the temperature 2, right? So if you just plug in the values, that is R2 is 15, R1 is 5, T2 is 20 and T1 is 10, right? So if you just plug in the values, you will get an answer of 3, which falls between 2.5 to 3.5. So the correct answer is between 2.5 and 3.5. That is option number B. You were correct. So in this case, does anyone have a doubt in this question since it's a numerical one? Do you want me to explain it again? This is a more straightforward question. You just needed to know the formula for this because they've given you all the values directly and in the correct SI units. Right. So I'm assuming there are no doubts in this. So let's move on to question number 14. Again, this is a which statement is correct question, and this is regarding fumigation and disinfection of spices. This is a much more theory question, so it is something that you might have followed, but you might not remember now because this is slightly maybe might be more difficult to remember. So there are four options. Phosphine is used for disinfection of spices without affecting their quality. Option 2 is methyl bromide is a fumigant with no adverse environmental effects. Option 3 is ethylene oxide is primarily used for sterilization of spices and is considered safe. And option 4 is repeated treatment with fumigants can lead to discoloration and loss of essential oil in spice. So I can see you guys are already writing the answers. All right. So the correct answer is option 1 and option 4. So phosphine is used for disinfection of spices without affecting their quality, right? Usually a dosage of 2 to 4 aluminum phosphide tablets per ton of whatever commodity that you are sterilizing is used, and for not less than 5 days. Okay, is what we use for disinfecting spices using phosphine. Okay, so methyl bromide is a fumigant. Okay, that has been used to fumigate spices, but it has been identified that it causes serious ozone depletion, right? And its ozone depletion potential ODP is zero point 0.7. Okay, so it can seriously cause the ozone depletion to happen. So that's why it's not used frequently. Ethylene oxide is also used for sterilization of spices, but it is a suspected carcinogen. So it is a cancer causing agent, right? So that is why that is also not safe, especially since spices are something that we consume, right? And option 4 was repeated treatment with fumigants can lead to discoloration and loss of essential oils in spices. And that is correct. So the correct answer was 1 and 4. So most of you were correct. So is there any doubt in this question? All right, I don't see any doubts. So let's move on to question number 15, which is again a match the following kind of question. So column 1 has methods that you use to add value to the products that you're going to sell. And option 2 is the benefits that come with these added methods, right? So column 1 is drying, canning, freezing, and fermentation. Column 2 is better flavor, nutrient retention, convenient storage, and long shelf life. So you have to match this correctly, and I can already see the answer, right? So most of you think it's option number 4 or D, and yes, that is correct. So drying is for longer shelf life, right? Once you dry something, it you reduce the water potential of that product, and it prevents spoilage, right? So drying increases shelf life. Canning is for convenient storage, right? Once you can something, you don't have to, in most cases you might not even have to refrigerate it, right? And you can keep, and in a lot of cases canning for fruits etc is done. You can remove their peels, you can cut them in pieces, and you can can them, and they will remain fresh for a longer period of time. Freezing is for nutrient retention, that will stop any metabolic processes from happening in the product, and these metabolic processes, if they had been continued to happen, could have changed the nutrient profile of the plant or fruit, or the flavor, or even the benefits that you have, right? Or the storage, or the shelf life. So freezing is for nutrient retention, and fermentation is for better flavors. All right. So option D is the correct answer. So is there any doubt in this question? All right. So let's move on to question number 16. So question number 16 is, which of the following gases is used to control the ripening process of fruits? So there are four options: nitrogen, oxygen, ethylene, and carbon dioxide. So there's a very obvious answer to this, and easy one, right? All right. So let's see what the answer is. So the answer is ethylene. Ethylene is a plant hormone that the plant already uses or releases when the fruits are ripening, right? When it's under the process of ripening. So ethylene, when it's sensed by other fruits, leads to them getting ripened. But this only works for climatic fruits. Those are affected by ethylene, or those, like for example banana, right? So if you keep a pair of unripe bananas with a pair of ripe or overripe bananas, the unripe bananas will ripen faster because the overripe bananas are releasing ethylene, right? But the same cannot be said for non-climatic fruits. They do not release ethylene, and therefore, and they can also not, sense the effect of ethylene, and ethylene does not cause them to ripen. Okay, so the correct answer is option number C, ethylene. Does anyone have a doubt in this question? All right. So let's move on to question number 17. Question number 17 is, which of the following statement is correct regarding the processing of fruits? So there are four options given to you. Blanching is used to inactivate enzymes before freezing. Dehydration increases the water activity of fruits. Irradiation can help extend the shelf life of fruits. And freezing preserves the nutritional contents of the fruit. So, easy question, right? So, let's see what the correct answer is. Yes, so most of you are correct. The answer is 1, 3, and 4. So, blanching is in fact used to inactivate enzymes before freezing. Blanching will degrade the proteins, right? That make up the enzymes, while not very drastically changing the flavor of the fruits, right? So, blanching is used to inactivate the enzymes before freezing, so that after you freeze them, metabolic processes don't take place that can reduce the taste flavor of the fruit, right? Irradiation, especially gamma irradiation etc., can help increase the shelf life of fruits, because it's going to kill the microbes that are present on the fruit, right? And one of the main causes of spoilage is activity by increased microbial flora on the fruit, right? Freezing preserves the nutritional contents of the fruit, which is also correct. It will reduce or even cut off any further metabolic processes from taking place that can lead the fruit from being perfectly ripe to being spoiled, right? Dehydration does not increase the water activity of fruits, it decreases the water activity of fruits, and because the water activity of fruits has decreased, the shelf life will have increased, right? So this statement is not correct, everything else is correct, right? So is there any doubt in this question and the answers? So for a lot of these questions, you might not have been able to guess exactly how many correct answers there are, right? It seems like a multiple choice question, but there can be one, two, three, or all four correct, right? So make sure to read the options and choose your answer carefully, right? When if you by chance are going to give the NPTEL exam, in that case, or even in the assignments, right? So I'm not seeing any questions for question number 17. So let's move on to question number 18. This is again a numerical question. So the you have been given the overall mass transfer coefficient K, right, which is 0.002 kilograms per kilogram square per second per Pascal, right? The surface area of the product is given as 10 centimeter square, and the pressure deficit is given as 500 Pascal, right? So you have to calculate the transpiration rate in kg per second. So first thing you have to see is the answer and the units of the question matching, right? And yes, they are, right? So you don't have to do any conversions as of now. So you can directly calculate the answer. So you are saying the answer is option 3. So let's see if it is. So for those who might not know how to solve this, all you need to know is this formula where the rate of transpiration is given by the mass transfer coefficient into the surface area, right, into the vapor pressure deficit. Okay, so that way it is straightforward. So you multiply 0.002 into 0.001 into 500 and you get an answer of 0.001 kg per second, right? So uh, the answer is 0.001 kg per second, and yes, you were all right. Option C is the correct answer. Does anyone have a question regarding this? Any doubts regarding question number 18? All right, so let's move on to question number 19. This is again a simple question. Which of the following is not a health benefit of cashew? Causing gallstones, lowers high blood pressure. Option C is free radicals, and option D is macular degeneration. Yes. So this is a very obvious answer, right? So causing gallstones cannot be a benefit at all. So the correct answer is in fact causing gallstones, which is not a health benefit of eating cashews. Right? So I'm assuming there are no doubts in this question. This was pretty straightforward. So this is the final question for the day, question number 20. And the question is, which of the following statements are correct regarding the classification of cocoa? Right? This is a very, very theoretical question. And it might have been difficult for you to remember because it is slightly something that you might need to mug up, right? There are four options given to you. Criollo trees are the most aromatic but highly sensitive to climate, resulting in lower yield. Forastero trees are disease resistant and have higher productivity, making up to 95% of the world's cocoa production. Option 3 is the major disadvantage of Forastero trees is their high organoleptic properties, and option 4 is Trinitario is a crossbreed from Criollo and Forastero. Everyone already seems to know this answer. Very good of you guys to remember all this. So yes, the correct answer is 1, 2, and 3. The major disadvantage of forestiero trees is their high organoleptic properties is not correct. All right. So these are the questions for today. So there are about 20 questions and we have solved them. And as you move in the course, there might be more theoretical questions. More formula based arithmetic questions than theoretical questions. Um, so, for those of you who have joined for the first time today, this is how these sessions are going to take place. These were mostly theoretical questions, so you might not have had a doubt. But if you have doubts regarding numerical questions or anything else, you can obviously ask me. The sessions that I take will be on every Tuesday for the next share the PPT. Yes, I'll be doing that. So I don't know when they'll send you the link for this, but just let me see. Yeah. So copy. I'll just paste the Google Sheet folder here. So in this sheet, you will have the PPT. I will also be uploading this class. I have been recording this. I'll be uploading that onto YouTube, and you'll get that link also. And in this Google Sheet, you will find the PPT and the YouTube link for me and the other TA also, the one who's taking the class in on Sundays, I think, right? So, just for some of you who might have joined both the classes, I like to tell you that most of these questions are the same. So, depending on your schedule, you can either join the Sunday class or today's class. So, that is your choice, right? So, that is it for today. If you don't have any doubts, you guys can leave the meeting. If you have any doubts, you can stay back. I have not yet uploaded in this link the PPT, but I'll be doing that. So just copy this spreadsheet link, and within a few minutes after the class is over, I'll upload the PPT link and the YouTube link, right? So, is there any doubt regarding anything else? Any questions that I've taken today? Anything? If not, you guys can leave the meeting. I'll wait for anyone else who's joining. Fresh, that is. Maybe when this hour is over, there might be other people who are joining, and I'll take the same questions again. So, no worries. The questions for today are over. You need not listen to them again. Someone has just joined right now. So, for those people, I have taken all the questions for today, but I can repeat them if you want. So, just write down in the chat if you want me to repeat it. The PPT will be uploaded online, and I've also taken a video recording of this entire session, and that also will be available on YouTube. So, just tell me if you want me to repeat these questions again. So I've already uploaded the folder in which I will be putting the PPTs. And after this class is over, I'll upload the video recording to YouTube, and I will also provide you guys with the link. All right. So the 9 people who are left right now, are you new joinees? Did you miss the questions? Can I know? Repeat the questions and also the first class. So, the first class and this class is the same, it's just taken by two other people at two other times. That's all. So, the one on Sunday is uh, taken by another TA, same questions, but it's just taken on Sunday according to her time schedule. And this session is taken by me on Tuesdays and from 6 to 8, and it's the same question. So I'll repeat these questions, not a problem. All right. So for future references, depending on your schedule, you would just need to attend either one class, Sunday or Tuesday, because the questions will be the same. All right. So question number one is, which of the following crops does India rank first in production? There are four options: apples, grapes, bananas, and oranges. Do you want to guess the answer? C. Yes. So the correct answer is in fact C. We are the largest banana producers in the world. We produce about 3.4 crore tons per year as of 2022, right? So bananas are produced by us the most, apples and grapes by China, and oranges by Brazil. All right. So question number two is, which of the following statement is correct regarding the major fruit of India? There are four options given to you. India is the largest producer of grapes in the world. Option B is, the area under cultivation of fruits in India is 6.66 million hectares. Option C is, India is not a major exporter of fruits to the world. And option D is, post harvest losses of fruits and vegetables in India are less than 10%. So, which is correct? And there might be multiple correct answers. Any guesses? All right. A. All right. So let's see what the answer is. So the correct answer is option B. The area under cultivation of fruits in India is about 6.66 million hectares. So the colored areas that you see in this graph, right? These are all areas that are used for cultivation of fruits, right? So India is the largest producer of grapes in the world. Like the first question said, we are not. China is the largest producer of grapes. India is the major exporter of fruits to the world, and post harvest losses of fruits and vegetables in India is more than 20%. So none of these are correct. The only correct option was option number B, right? So let's move on to question number three. So anytime you have a doubt, just feel free to write it in the chat or unmute yourself and ask me. All right. So I'll keep moving on without asking you if you have a doubt. If you have a doubt, just write it in the chat. Okay. So question number three is, which of the following statement is are correct about the nutritional content of fruits? There are four options. Ripe fruits contain a higher percentage of sugar, chiefly in the form of sucrose, fructose, and glucose. Option two is, fruits are poor source of iron except for certain fruits like sitafal. Option C or three is, C, buckthorn, and amla are the richest source of vitamin C, followed by guava. And option 4 is, some fruits like apples, pears, cherries, grapes, and citrus fruit contain flavonoids that act as antioxidants. So, again, only one might be correct, or more than one might be correct. So, um, do you want to guess what the answer is? All right, I'm not seeing any answers as such, so I'll tell you the answer. So all four of them are correct. So ripe fruits do contain a higher percentage of sucrose, fructose, and glucose. Fruits are a poor source of iron, but sitafal is one of the fruits which is a higher source of iron. Sea buckthorn and amla are rich source of vitamin C, followed by guava, and then lemon. So lemon is not the highest source of vitamin C that we can get from plant sources, right? Option 4, that is some fruits like apple, pears, cherries, grapes, and citrus fruits. They do contain flavonoids that act as antioxidants. So wait, I'll just see if I can find a picture of sea buckthorn. Or is there a Hindi name for this? I'm not able to find the Hindi name, but a picture maybe. Just a second. Wait, I think I'll have to share my screen. Mm, wait. Yeah, just one sec. I'll have to share the screen, I think. Yeah, share. So the picture that you're seeing right now is the sea buckthorn. Right? Images. So these plants, I'm not able to find what they're called in Hindi or any other language as such, but these are sea buckthorns. Right? Yeah. So I'll just represent the PPT. Right. So the correct answer is all four of them, right? So let's move on to question number 4. Which of the following fruit is an excellent source of carotenes? There are four options: papaya, amla, apple, and grape. So do you want to try guessing the answer? This is a very straightforward question.
Ma'am, papaya.
Papaya? Yes. So the correct answer is in fact papaya. Papaya is an excellent source of carotene, and there are a few other plants also which are excellent sources of carotene, like mangoes, mangosteen. What else is there? Yeah, mangoes, mangosteen, dates, orange, and papayas, right? So all these are excellent sources of uh, carotenes. All right. So let's move on to question number 5. The question is, you have to choose the correct statement regarding ripening and senescence in fruits. There are four options given. So the first option is ripening refers to the physiological and biochemical changes of a fruit. And so what happens is during ripening, fruit changes and it attains a desirable color, flavor, aroma, sweetness, texture, etc. And this makes it something that we can eat, right? Option 2 is the process of ripening. Yeah, so option 2 is the process of ripening usually does not occur until a fruit has reached its full maturity. Option 3 is ripening of a fruit may occur only after harvest, depending on the species. And option 4 is in non-climatic fruits, the respiratory rate increases during ripening and is associated with elevated ethylene production. So from these four options, you have to choose which is or are correct about ripening and senescence in fruits. So again, there might be multiple correct answers or there can be one correct answer in this. So do you guys want to try guessing?
Option 1 and 2.
All right. Does anyone else have any other answers? Do you think it's something else? All right, let's see the answer. So the answer is in fact option 1 and 2. So ripening is very obviously a change that comes into a fruit where it attains a desirable color from the green to vibrant colors like red, yellow, etc. Right? A flavor, aroma, you will be able to smell the ripened fruit. Sweetness, because the complex carbohydrates are broken down to individual monomers or dimers, right? And texture, right? So the softness, etc. So this becomes the fruit that we are able to eat, right? Option 2 is also correct. The process of ripening usually does not occur until a fruit has reached its full maturity. So until and unless a fruit has reached its full size potential and its full biochemical and physiological changes, it does not uh, begin the process of ripening, right? So the reason option 3 is not correct is because it is saying that ripening of a fruit may occur only after harvest. So that is not correct. Ripening of a fruit may occur after harvest for certain kinds of fruits depending on the species, but it is not something that is dependent on the harvesting process. So ripening will occur with or without the harvest, right? And option 4 is also not correct. So option 4 says in non-climatic fruits, the respiratory rate increases during ripening and is associated with elevated ethylene production, right? So the difference between climatic fruits like banana, mango, avocado and non-climatic fruits like citrus, berries, leafy greens, etc. is that climatic fruits, this graph will tell you, climatic fruits during the ripening process, they will have an increase in respiration and increase in ethylene production, right? While non-climatic fruits will have a decrease in respiration and the ethylene will remain constant, right? So because of this, climatic fruits like banana, mango, avocado can ripen even after they are harvested and they tend to spoil faster, right? But fruits like citrus fruits, berries, etc., do not ripen after they are harvested. So you have to harvest them only when they have ripened, right? So that is why option number 4, which stated non-climatic fruits, fruits like citrus fruits, etc., the respiratory rate increases during ripening and is associated with ethylene production. So that is not correct. This would have been correct if it said climatic fruits instead. All right. So is there any doubt in this question?
No, ma'am.
All right. So let's move on to question number 6. Question number 6 is which of the following spice is classified as a phenolic spice? They will contain certain amount of phenolic compounds and therefore they will be classified as phenolic spice. There are four options: ginger, clove, turmeric and cumin. So any guess as to what the answer is?
Ma'am, clove.
Clove? Yes. So the correct answer is in fact clove. So these different phenolic compounds are found in clove. These are all phenolic compounds, right? So clove is a phenolic spice. Um, Turmeric is a colored spice because of its characteristics yellow color that it has and it gives to anything that it contains, right? Cumin is an aromatic spice. It's a something that you use for aroma, right? In food especially. And ginger is a pungent spice, right? So let's move on to the next question. Question number 7 is what is the respiratory quotient value for carbohydrates, right? So respiratory quotient, as the formula states, is the volume of CO2 that has been evolved by the reaction by the volume of oxygen that was used for the reaction, right? So they're asking you what the respiratory quotient value for carbohydrates is. Any guesses? All right, so no guesses, I'm assuming. So the correct answer for this is option B, which is 1, and we'll see why, right? So this is the process of a carbohydrate converting into carbon dioxide, water, and energy, right? So glucose, which is C6H12O6 plus 6 molecules of oxygen, gives rise to 6 molecules or moles of CO2 plus 6 moles of H2O plus energy. So the amount of CO2 evolved is 6 moles and the amount of oxygen consumed is also 6. So you get an answer of 1, right? So that is the correct answer in case of carbohydrates. It is different for different kind of compounds. For fats, it is around 0.7. For proteins, it's around 0.83. For organic acids, it's around 1.3. And for anaerobic respiration, it's around infinity, right? Because there is no oxygen involved in the process itself, right? So, is there any doubt in this question? All right, so I'll move on to the next question. So, question number 7 is, so the correct answer is 1. So, question number 8 is again, which of the following statement is correct regarding respiration? The respiration rate of fresh produce can be measured using a gas exchange. Respiration rate indicates the storage potential of the plant produce. Higher respiration rate indicates longer shelf life, and respiration rate is an important criteria to compare the perishability of fruit and vegetables. So again, since this is guess the correct statement, there can be one or multiple correct options from this. Any guesses as to what the answer is?
वाह वाह जी वाह
All right. So I'll move on to the answer then. So the correct answer is 1, 2, and 4. The respiration rate of a fresh produce can be measured using a gas exchange. Respiratory rate indicates storage potential of the plant produce, right? Um, Option 4, the respiration rate is an important criteria to compare the perishability of fruit and vegetables is also correct. The only one which was incorrect was the higher respiration rate indicates longer shelf life. So the higher the respiration rate, the shorter the shelf life. So as we'd seen for climatic fruits, the respiration is higher the more time after harvesting, right? And these fruits spoil easily, right? So the higher the respiration rate, the shorter the shelf life, right? So again, the respiration rate, and because of this, because we can use respiration rate to indicate how long produce can be stored, it can be used as important criteria to compare the perishability of fruits, and it can also indicate the storage potential of the plant produce, right? Are there any doubts in this question? All right, so let's move on to question number 9. You have to match the following. There are produces given to you in column number 1 and the respiratory rate given to you in column number 2. You have to match the produce to its specific respiratory rate. Any guess? So since I'm not seeing any guesses, I'll move on to the answer. So answer is option A, and option A states that it's very simple, right? So nuts amongst these four have the lowest respiratory rate and therefore the highest shelf life. Pepper, they have low volume of water in them, right? And a lower respiratory rate, but more higher than nuts. So they have intermediate shelf life. Peas have high respiratory rate, so they don't have a good shelf life. That is why you either get fresh peas or you get frozen peas, right? And mushroom, they have a very, very high respiratory rate and a very short shelf life. All right. So I'm assuming there are no doubts. I'll move on to question number 10. Question number 10 states that which of the following method is used to measure the respiratory rate of fresh produce using a gas tight container? There are four options: flow through system, permeable system, closed system, and open system. So a closed system is such as here where you have closed it completely and there is only this syringe that is present there, right? A syringe which has the knob of which has been completely pushed down. So what happens is, if and assume these are the fruits or the produce, right? And when they produce gas molecules due to respiration, what happens is the volume inside this, I mean the volume here is same, right? But these gas molecules will expand, right? So what happens is this syringe will open up, right? And you can measure exactly how much amount of new gas has been formed, right? In flush systems, you have a gas inlet which is going to give you a constant source of gas, and a gas outlet which is directly connected to an HPLC which will measure the gas, right? So it will be a combination of whatever inlet gas you're using and the gas that is produced by your produce, right? And a permeable system will have a plastic film which will allow oxygen and carbon dioxide to move to and from through it, and you can measure this movement of the molecules, right? So in this particular question they're asking you which of the following methods can be used to measure the respiration rate of fresh produce using a gas tight container. Okay, so there is only one of these methods which is gas tight, which is the closed system, right? Any doubts in this question? All right, so let's move on to question number 11. Question number 11 is you have to identify the correct statement about the impact of temperature on respiration rate. There are four options given to you. Option 1 is the respiration rate of a biological reaction increases 2 to 3 folds for every 10 degrees Celsius rise in temperature. Option 2 is the respiration rate is independent of temperature changes. Option 3 is lower temperature reduces the respiration rate of produce. And option 4 is higher temperature can lead to faster spoilage due to increased respiration rate. So, any guess as to what the answer is?
One, three, and four.
1, 3, and 4. So, let's first see the answer. So, the answer is correct. You were correct. 1, 3, and 4 is correct. So, according to Van Hoff's rule, within the physiological temperature range, the velocity or the reaction rate of a biological reaction increases 2 to 3 folds for every 10 degree um, Celsius rise in temperature. So if the temperature increases by 10 degrees Celsius, the reaction rate will increase 2 to 3 folds, right? And R1 and R2 are the respiration rates and the temperatures T1 and T2. So it is the formula itself, the Van Hoff rule, for the Van Hoff rules tells you that T1 and T2 do play a role, that is the temperature does play a role in the rate of respiration, right? So option 1 is correct, option 2 is not correct. The respiration rate is not independent of temperature changes. Option 3 states that lower temperature reduces the respiration rate of the produce, and that is correct. And that is the reason why you store your fruits and vegetables in the refrigerator, right? so that the lower temperature can reduce the respiration rate and increase the shelf life, and higher temperatures can lead to faster spoilage due to increased respiration rate. So the higher the temperature, the faster spoilage can take place. That is why food spoils faster during summers, right? So is there any doubt in this question? Alright, so I'm assuming there are no doubts. So let's move on to question number 12. This is a match the following kind of question. Column 1 is giving you different types of respiration, and column 2 is giving you their characteristics, right? So column 1 has aerobic, anaerobic, closed system, and flow through. Column 2 has gas tight container, constant gas flow rate, CO2 plus H2O plus energy, and formation of alcohol. So try matching them and let's see what the answer is. Any guesses?
Option C.
Option C. So yes, so the correct answer is option C. So closed system is gas tight container. Flow through is constant gas flow rate, like we'd seen in the previous question. Aerobic means that you have used oxygen and carbohydrate to give rise to CO2, H2O, and energy, right? And anaerobic means that you have done the respiration without the presence or the need for oxygen. And mostly you would know that anaerobic reactions will give rise to some byproducts, for example, alcohol, right? So the correct answer is option C. So question 13 is a numerical question. This is easy if you remember the formula, right? So the question is the respiration rate at temperature T1 is R1 equals 5 mg CO2 per kg per hour. The respiration rate at temperature T2 is R2, which is 15 mg CO2 per kg per hour. The T1 is 10 degrees Celsius and the T2 is 20 degrees Celsius. What would be the temperature quotient? That is Q10. So you would remember the formula, right? So this is the formula for the temperature quotient, that is Q10, R2 by R1, the whole thing to the power of 10 by T2 minus T1. So all you have to do is plug in the formulas, right? So R2 according to the question is 15, R1 is 5, okay, to the power 10 by T2, which is 20, minus T1, which is 10. That is exactly what is here. And you get this 3 by 3 to the power 10 by 10. 10 by 10 is 1, so 3 to the power 1. So Q10 equals to 3, right? So this falls within the range of 2.5 to 3.5. So the correct answer is B. All right. Is there any doubt in this question?
No, ma'am.
All right. So let's move on to question number 14. This is again a correct guess, which is the correct statement. And this is regarding fumigation and disinfection of spices. So there are four options given to you. Option 1 is phosphine is used to disinfect spices without affecting their quality. Option 2 is methyl bromide is a fumigant with no adverse environmental effects. Option 3 is ethylene oxide is primarily used for sterilization of spices and is considered safe. And option 4 is repeated treatment with fumigants can lead to discoloration and loss of essential oils in spices. So any guess as to which is correct in this? Alright, so let's see what the answer is. So this is more of a very theory question, so you would have had to remember this information, right? So phosphine is in fact used for disinfecting spices without affecting their quality. The correct dosage would be 2 to 4 aluminum phosphide tablets per ton of produce, right? For not less than 5 days, and that will disinfect the spices without affecting their quality. Methyl bromide is a fumigant, but it has been identified as causing ozone depletion. Okay, so it has a ozone depletion potential, ODP, of 0.7. That means this methyl bromide is going to seriously deplete the ozone. So that is why this is not used, even though it is a good fumigant. Ethylene oxide is primarily uh, yes, ethylene oxide is primarily used for sterilization, but it is a suspected carcinogen. Okay, so it is a cancer causing, according to research, a cancer causing compound. So therefore it is not used for sterilization of spices, because this is something that we consume, right? And we don't want to increase the chances of us getting cancer. And option 4 is also correct. Repeated treatment with fumigants will lead to discoloration and loss of essential oils in spices. So you have to make sure that you treat the spices the minimal amount of fumigants that is required for sterilization, right? So that their quality is not disturbed. So question number 15 is again match the following kind of question. You have methods that you use post harvesting before selling, and their benefits, right? So drying, canning, freezing, fermentation. And column 2 has better flavors, nutrient retention, convenient storage, and long shelf life, right? So the correct answer for this is option D. So drying will increase the shelf life, right? Because it will reduce the water activity of whatever product that you're drying, and that will prevent it from being, attacked by microbes or insects, etc. And it will also stop the metabolic process that is happening in the product, so that more spoilage does not happen. Canning, you can cut fruits, peel them, and sell them as canned fruits, and this is a convenient storage option, right? A freezing will uh, freezing a product is for nutrient retention. It will stop any metabolic processes from happening, or at least slow them down, so that the food does not move forward towards spoilage or change in taste or flavor, right? Fermentation is for better flavor production, right? So any doubt in this question?
No, ma'am.
All right. So let's move on to question number 16. The question is, which of the following gas is used to control the ripening process of fruits? There are four options given to you: nitrogen, oxygen, ethylene, and carbon dioxide. So this is a very simple answer. Do you want to try guessing?
And D, option D.
D for dog. All right, so let's see what the answer is. So the answer is not option D, carbon dioxide, but the answer is C, ethylene. So ethylene is a plant hormone that is produced by climatic fruits, right? When in the process of ripening. So if you have ever seen, if you have a bunch of unripe bananas and a bunch of ripe bananas, if you keep them close together, the bunch of unripe bananas will ripen faster. It's because the ripe bananas are releasing ethylene, and ethylene is a plant hormone which will tell the unripe fruit to speed up the process of ripening. All right. So the correct answer, the gas which is used to control the ripening process of fruits, is ethylene. Any doubt in this question?
Ma'am, if ethylene is used for the ripening, then
Yes. Then.
it should not be used for the control of ripening. I did not understand this.
So control of the ripening, in this case, they are not saying that uh, this control doesn't mean to reduce the ripening. So ethylene, in this case, it means that you are controlling how long the fruit will take to ripen, or that process. So it's not saying ki if you have ethylene, that the ripening process will not happen. It's saying that you are able to control how fast the ripening process happens. So if you have an unripe pair of bananas, bunch of bananas, and you want to ripen it by tomorrow, okay, so you will use ethylene so that the ripening process happens faster. If you had left the bunch of bananas for it to ripen normally, it might have taken 2, 3, 4 more days, right? So, in case you want to sell your product tomorrow and it's still not ripe, you will use ethylene to control the ripening process. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let's move on to question number 17. Question number 17 is, which of the following statement is correct regarding the processing of fruits? There are four options. Blanching is used to inactivate enzymes before freezing. Dehydration increases the water activity of fruits. Irradiation can help extend the shelf life of fruits, and freezing preserves the nutritional content of the fruits. So let's see what the answer is. So from a past few questions, you will know that freezing does preserve the nutritional content of the fruits. Irradiation, for example, gamma or X-ray irradiation, can help extend the shelf life of fruits because it will kill the microbes that are present on the fruits, right? And if you have killed the microbes that are present on the fruits, then there are less chances of rotting happen, because it's things like microbes or flies, etc., that increase the rate of the rotting from happening, right? Dehydration increases the water activity of the fruit. This is not correct. Dehydration decreases the water activity of the fruit. So water activity is inversely proportional to the shelf life, right? So if the water activity is increased, then the shelf life is decreased. If the water activity is decreased, the shelf life is increased. So dehydration is removing water, right? So it is decreasing the water activity of the fruit and therefore increasing the shelf life. Blanching, or boiling or heating for a short period of time, is used to inactivate enzymes, because enzymes are proteins, right? So heat will denature them, right? So blanching is used to inactivate enzymes before freezing, so that these enzymes cannot, you know, um, do whatever their enzymic process was and speed up the process of spoilage of the fruits before you freeze them. And this will help maintain the flavor of the fruits after freezing. All right. Any doubt in this question?
No, ma'am.
All right. So let's move on to question number 18. This is again a numerical question. And again, if you know the formula, it is very easy for you to solve. So the question is, the overall mass transfer coefficient K is 0.02 kilograms per meter square per second per Pascal. The surface area of the product is 10 centimeter square and the vapor pressure deficit is 500 Pascal. So you have to calculate the rate of transpiration in kilograms per second. So first of all, we have to see if this formula, the units used here is what are the units used here. So as you can see, yes, the units are correct. So the Pascal will cancel out, right? And you will be left with kg per second, right? Yeah, that's correct. So in this question, they have given you the mass transfer coefficient, the vapor pressure deficit, and the surface area. So if you know the formula for the rate of transpiration, it is the multiplication of all the three. So it is the mass transfer coefficient, which is K, multiplied by the surface area, which is A, into the vapor pressure deficit, right? So if you multiply the values given to you, you will get an answer of 0.001 kilogram per second. And that is the correct answer. Option C is the correct answer. Any doubts in this? All right. Yeah, so in this case, oh yeah, I forgot to mention in this case, since there is no distance unit here, right, like meter or centimeter, and the mass transfer coefficient is given as kilogram meter square per meter square, right, and the surface area is given as 10 centimeter square, so you'll have to convert this 10 centimeter to meter. So that is why here the area is given as 0.001. Okay. Any doubt in this question?
No, no, ma'am.
All right. So question number 19 is, which of the following is not a health benefit of the cashew? And there are four options. causing gallstones, lowers high blood pressure, free radicals, and macular degeneration. So, what do you think is the correct answer? Any guesses?
Macular degeneration.
No. So, the correct answer is not, in fact, macular degeneration. Uh, in this case, the correct answer is causing gallstones. So, this is slightly, uh, you know, like cashew nuts do not cause gallstones. So, therefore, it is the causing gallstone is not a health benefit of eating cashews, right? In this case, yeah. So, the correct answer is causing gallstones. I mean, yeah. So, causing gallstone is not a health benefit of eating cashew nuts. It is a problem, right? Instead of a health benefit. So, let's move on to question number 20, and that is the final question for today. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the classification of cocoa? This is a very, very theory based question. So, this requires memory power from you, right? So, Criollo trees are the most aromatic but highly sensitive to climate, resulting in lower yield. Forastero trees are disease resistant and have high productivity, making up about 95% of the world's cocoa production. And option 3 is the major disadvantage of forestero tea is that their high organoleptic properties. Option 4 is Trinitario is a crossbreed from Criollo and Forastero. So you have to find out the correct statement. So this is a very theory one. I'm not sure if you'll remember it or not. So I'll just tell you the answer. So the answer is the correct statements are 1, 2, and 4. So Trinitario is in fact a crossbreed of Criollo and Forastero. Criollo trees are very aromatic, but they are sensitive to climate and therefore they're not very easy to grow, and their yield is also low. Okay. Forestero trees are disease resistant and they have high productivity, and therefore that is what is most widely used around the world. The major disadvantage of forestero trees is their high organoleptic properties is the incorrect part. So those are the questions for today. There were 20 questions. And do you guys have any doubts regarding any other questions? Because I'm going to end this session now.
No, ma'am.
No? All right. So, the other two people, do you guys have any doubts? All right. So, I'm going to assume you guys don't have any doubts. So, I'm going to end the session. You guys can leave the session for today.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Dr. Subhash, do you have a doubt? If you're not comfortable unmuting yourself, you can uh, write it in the chat. All right. So, I'm going to assume there are no doubts. I'm going to close this session. All right. Thank you so much for joining.